Interesting story tonight. The company behind the HS2 rail project have been accused of brainwashing school children. It comes after it awarded a £280,000 contract to a company to promote the high-speed rail project to children at primary schools on the proposed route, which is set to link London to Birmingham and onwards to the north. HS2 Limited has contracted the London-based Hopscotch Consulting to develop an education programme aimed at younger children. Let's go and get a word with Joe Rukin, who's from the Stop HS2 campaign. Joe, good evening to you.
Evening, Paul.
How do you feel about what's happened then here?
Well, it seems truly Orwellian that there's a state-sponsored brainwashing campaign specifically targeted at schools along the route of HS2. It's supposedly in the name of encouraging people to go into engineering, but basically, when you look at the materials that are provided, it is all positive about HS2. It's a land of milk and honey, and it's basically, looking at different routes that they could choose. And surprisingly, the primary objective is to come up with exactly the route that HS2 Limited themselves chose.
Well, rather than brainwashing, isn't it part of the education process? I mean, they're aiming it at school children, primary schools. So once HS2 is up and running, we're talking 16, 17 years down the line, then those children will be in their 20s. So it'll have been part of their education because it'll be there.
Well, part of education is to give a balanced view, is to give two sides of a viewpoint and let students make up their own minds. This is purely saying HS2 is a brilliant idea, and the worry is that it is specifically aimed at the schools along the route of HS2. Kids who will be going to school in the day and going home potentially to a house that's on the building site or even going to be knocked down by the project.
I don't know whether they're going to roll it out beyond those schools and the education programme, beyond schools that are on the route, but those are the children that will grow up and be most affected by it because they'll see it, they'll have experienced it.
Exactly, they'll be the people who are most affected by it, and they're being and the idea is to tell them at school that it's a great idea, and then potentially go home and have a massive row with your parents who are, bothered about the fact you're going to have to move, bothered about the fact that they'll be living on a building site for, 10 years or so, and while they might, push it out beyond the route, the fact that it's been specifically aimed at schools on the route suggests no more that it is about, Orwellian brainwashing, because if it was about the stated objectives of trying to get more kids into engineering, then it wouldn't be targeted. And the fact that it is targeted to the areas that have got the most opposition and in a lot of cases the most to lose from HS2 is really, really not on.